Hello, beautiful people. I apologize for being late. I am just handling all the things with mommy duties. And you know, we got to get it how we live. But I am so grateful for y'all patience while I get all the things together with my daughter. She will soon be going to the park, but we're going to rock with it as my co-host until we get it together. Today we are going to be talking about who started the Protect Black Women movement. Okay, and there's levels to this conversation. Like, there's levels, okay? And I'm super excited to just discuss and go into depth. I have some beautiful women joining this live in love. And you know, this is going to be a conversation that's probably not going to be as comfortable as people would like, but that's where we find growth, right? In the uncomfortable spaces and in the energy of just having those hard conversations and saying, okay, yes, to a certain extent, this is true. But at the same time, let's think about the systematic white supremacy that is present in the underlying definitions of this movement. Or let's think about this, let's think about that. We're just going to talk about it. And you know, I would love for y'all to put something in the chat. What I want you to put in the chat is, I want you to put, like, what do you think about when you hear the phrase protect Black women? That's what I want you to do. Now, I'm going to bring on these beautiful Black women. Sisters are joining in, and I'm going to bring in, let me invite the other folks. Can somebody do me a favor? I believe I can pin a comment. Hello, sis.
Hello.
Who else am I inviting? Oh yeah, Tatiana. So I was trying to get a comment pinned, but you know, we're gonna make it do what it do. What's up, y'all? Hello, beautiful people. Hello. Oh my goodness. Look at all these beautiful people coming into the room. They like, I'm trying to see what this is all about. Hello, Taji.
Hello.
Hi, Shorty.
Oh.
Queen. And a place to be. Okay, I got one more person I want to bring on, and then we're gonna get it popping. But hello, everybody. My name is Naya Bengaziani. I'm a motivational speaker, healer, spoken word poet, mother, all the things. Oh, come on, ponytail. And I am super excited to be on here today. This is gonna be amazing. Like I said, y'all, I got my daughter, her daddy on his way to take her to the park, but we're gonna rock with it for now. And today, you know, the topic is Protect Black Women, or who started the Protect Black Women movement. This is the SistaaHood series where we come and we talk about all the things that is Black women. We talk about the joys, we talk about the challenges, we talk about our healing journey, we talk about just all of the beautiful things, the essence, and we have those conversations with love, light, and accountability. So now I'm gonna pass it over to my sis Kai to start off the introduction. Say who you are, what is the amazing work that you do, and then we're gonna move to the next person. So I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Hi, I'm Kai. I'm a published author of a book called Love Kai. It's a book of poetry. I'm not a spoken word artist, really. I'm an author, I'm a poet, I am a motivational speaker, and I'm a mom of 3. And I am, you know, that's it. That's all I got. I'm a fool. I'm also a fool. I should add that.
Thank you, Sister Kai. Anybody can go next. Just your name, who you are, and the wonderful work you do. Go ahead.
So my name is Aisha. I am a motivational speaker, author. I'm also a spiritual reader. I am a certified life coach as well. And so I use meditation along with some of my spiritual practices to help my clients heal from trauma.
Okay, we got some authors on the call. Okay, we got some motivational speakers on the call. Like, this is gonna be a word. I hope y'all ready for all my viewers out there. I don't see nothing in the chat yet. What do y'all feel like y'all hear or think about when you hear the phrase protect Black women? I need y'all to put it in the chat. This is an engaging conversation, and we're gonna go there. So I want to hear y'all thoughts. All right, go ahead, Sister Taji.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Tatiana. I am an actor, director, based in the Bay Area. So yeah, do a lot of stuff in front and behind the camera. So yeah, that's me.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So much good energy in this room. I'm super excited. And I'm so grateful for everybody here who was watching and also everybody on this call. I don't know why. I was just so geeked up and excited for this conversation. Like, I feel like it's going to be so good and it's necessary. And I know it's going to be so much. That's why we're going to do a part 2 next week. So stay tuned for that. But yes, I would like to bring in the first question, which is what I asked the viewers. What do y'all think about when y'all hear the phrase protect Black women? What comes to your mind? What comes to your thoughts? Thank you so much. I honestly don't know what to say. All right. And that's why we're having this conversation today. We're going to give you some ideas and some thoughts, sis. So who wants to start?
I'll go ahead. So I think when you hear the phrase protect Black women, or do we protect Black women, or are Black women protected? In my mind, I'm thinking about our mental health, number one, because we deal with so much, we do so much, we go through so much, and we still get shit done. And so our mental health takes a back seat most of the time, and we don't have that time to actually give to ourselves the way white women would, or Indian women, or women from other cultures are able to give to their families without having to work and have a hard life.
That's a real statement. Okay, I want to hear something from everybody else. We got some hand claps in this chat. Okay, one thing that stood out to me before somebody else goes is we don't have the time that white women have. Because a lot of white women are able to stay home with their kids, raise their kids. Black women, we got to work. We got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Some of us have that luxury to be able to stay home and be stay-at-home moms and stuff like that. But that's not everybody's experience, right? So that's a very beautiful point and perspective to bring into the conversation. Who wants to go next? Sister Kai, Sister Taji?
I'll go. When I hear the phrase protect Black women, it makes me feel that there is an idea that Black women are not protected. And in order to unpack why we think Black women are not protected, we first have to understand the hierarchy of the races. And so one of the things that comes into play is that, you know, in the hierarchy, it's the white man, it's the white woman, it's the Black woman, and then it's the Black man. So there's no greater way actually to get to the Black man than to get through a Black woman. So if a Black woman and a Black man are at odds, then obviously our community is fractured and broken. So for me, protect the Black woman, even though, you know, largely you'll hear a lot of Black feminists saying it, you'll hear white feminists saying it, you'll hear Black men saying it. I largely hear that term and think a lot further into it in terms of, you know, what it's the message that is being sent, because it's also sending out a signal that we're somehow unprotected. And if we're unprotected, we're vulnerable, and our community is vulnerable.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Sister Taji.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on. I think protect Black women comes from kind of the sentiments around like kind of like how you just of like the hierarchy of the food chain and knowing our position in society and how susceptible we are to violence is a big part of like our protection, because we experience violence in so many different forms, whether it's external forces or like, you know, mental health working against us as well as a result of external forces. So I think it's about making systems and society equitable for us in order for us to thrive. I think that's a lot of like what protecting Black women means and can mean, as well as I think just being there. I feel like oftentimes we experience when we are experiencing these forms of violence and like giving the call out to be like, this is what protecting us means, or this is how you can protect us, is we need, you know, we need more affordable health care, we need this, we need this, we need protection, you know, in the medical field, we need this. There's often It can sometimes fall on non-listening ears. So I think also like people being present and seeing us is a lot of what I think protect Black women means as well.
Look at all these answers. All these answers. A sister. Oh my God. A sister in the chat said, "Oh, I have one." Hold on, Fia. Hold on, Fia. The music, trap music. Okay, say hi. Say hi. Okay. All right. They say hi. Oh, I have one. The music, trap music. Some Black men don't make music to make Black women feel safe, always putting us down. So basically saying that sometimes when you hear protect Black women, we don't feel protected when it comes to the music culture and what we hear coming out and all of these different things. So I feel like that's real. For me, when I hear that phrase, I like to read in between the lines of certain things, right? And a lot of the times when you hear people or Black women saying protect Black women, a lot of the things that I've heard it considered to was around like Black men, right? And how Black men don't protect us and all of these different things. And it's like all Black men are usually like clumped into this like one body of people to say that Black men don't protect us. And I don't really agree with that all the way. And when I hear protect Black women, it also makes me think about like just our bodies being regulated, right, by policies and all of these different things. And also just this understanding that we keep on working to fight for a specific outcome and trying to be a part of a certain society when white supremacy was never supposed to serve us in the first place, right? So we keep having these marches. We keep saying these different movements. It's not really much action behind what we're saying. I mean, some, but not all, right? Because it's some people doing the work, so we're not going to take that away from them. But it's just this understanding that it seems more trendy than actual action and different things put behind it. And even when we fight for policy, because I'm not trying to be on no doom and gloom, like ain't nothing ever going to work, right? But I'm just thinking about it in regards to when we fighting for policy in a system of white supremacy, what does that truly mean when it comes to the action of it? Because there's policies and laws in places now, but a Black woman can be shot and killed in her home and nothing happens.
Right.
So I don't know. That's just what my mind is all over the place. Y'all got so many notes. I'm ready to go in, but I just wanted to start off right there. Like those are my thoughts initially when I just think about like the whole concept of protect Black women and what that means. And I also want to go inside eventually and talk about how can we heal ourselves when it comes to this conversation and what does it mean for us to develop our own finish line and our own standards and values to really talk about protecting us and all the things. But I have a quote that I want to read and I want to get y'all thoughts on this quote. It is a very famous quote by Malcolm X. Okay, so we're going to read it. And it says, "The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman." I want to know y'all thoughts. What y'all think about that quote?
I agree, because especially when it comes to certain places and spaces, say for example, if you work in corporate America as a Black woman, if you have employees who have to listen to you and follow your instructions, it is very challenging. It is very hard for most Black women to move up the corporate ladder when it comes to being managers or being directors. Or how many people can honestly say they can look at their VPs, they can look at their directors, their CEOs of these major corporations, and there are Black women, Black men all throughout it. It's not. You may see a Black man before you see a Black woman as an executive. There are not many Black women who are executives. 2020 showed us, oh, now we have all these Black women all of a sudden are major executives like CEOs and presidents. We didn't have that before. Why it takes so long? Because we're not protected in that space.
I think To some extent, I agree with you. But the other part of that is you have to look at the fact that after Malcolm X made that statement, during and after the civil rights movement, the entire agenda was to dismantle Black male leadership and to destroy the Black family. So the next thing that came after the civil rights movement was that the Black woman was basically catapulted up. So while we talk about being in uncomfortable spaces in corporate America, many Black men can't even get into the spaces that we're uncomfortable in. Many Black men can't get the jobs that we're uncomfortable in, that we don't like. They can't even apply because there's a system that's been put in place that's made sure that if you step outside of this box and get one strike on your record, we are going to penalize you on every platform in every way that we can. You will not be able to vote. You will not have jury duty. You will not be able to get certain jobs. And as a result, you will not be able to be the moneymaker. And when you're not the moneymaker, so now you have Black women rising as the number one entrepreneurs, the number one educated. Like we are just climbing. And what about our men? What about our husbands? What are their options? You know, and many of them are becoming entrepreneurs themselves, but they're still finding those challenges. So when we say that, you know, the Black woman is the most, women globally are disrespected. Women globally don't have any rights. If we look outside of America, in other countries, it's legal to marry a 9-year-old girl. It's legal for a grown man to marry a child. So I know that the agenda and the motive changed. And while I'm not sitting here saying that we are so protected in every space that we go to, I know that of the whole, that there's a greater deviant that's underlying. So I can't say, you know, it's hard for a Black man, I think, to feel, because it's very similar in a lot of ways. We're living our lives. It's very similar to back in slavery. You know, Black men weren't able to protect us back then. And, you know, in a lot of ways, they're not able to protect us now.
Right.
So
that
you know,
leads back to where we're not being protected.
But how can you protect? So like if you're a mom, right? If you're a mom, how can you protect your child if you can't even ensure that you're going to be able to eat or you're going to have a roof over your head? So many of our Black men, I don't think the ones that we don't feel protected by, the ones who are not being protective, I don't think they have the mental health or bandwidth to protect anybody.
Come on.
They don't have the mental health. They don't have the bandwidth to do anything but create the music that they're creating and propagate the things that they're propagating, because they're not even in a position to know. They are. Do you know how many Black men are underhoused? How many Black men are underhoused? So most Black women that I know either own their own places, have their own apartments. Many Black men are have roommates, living with family, not able to sustain sufficient, you know, self-sufficiency consistently. That's not really a problem for Black women. Mm-hmm. We're able to do that by hook or crook. So I think it's hard to even think outside the realm of yourself when you're trying to think about, am I going to be able to eat today?
It's levels. That's why I love that you brought up the Black family, because that's really the foundation of it, right? And that's why I asked the question, who started the Protect Black Women movement? This is why I asked this question, because then it makes me think about the suffrage movement, right? The feminism movement. And the foundation of that was white women who put Black women as the face, because they knew that Black woman has that power and that resilience, right? So when you think about Protect Black Women, that's why I said, who started it? Who started it? Because there are so many people who can like profit off of this movement. And it's like, when we think about it, it kind of puts us against each other as a Black community, right? Exactly. It just comes back to the whole concept of the lineage of abuse, the lineage of trauma, the generational trauma that is embedded in our bloodlines. That's why I love that you brought that up, because it's definitely in my notes. about the Black family, because I'm like, protect Black women. We got to protect Black women and Black men. And I love that you also brought up the fact that Black women are like you said something about the lead as entrepreneurs coming up right now, right? They definitely have access to corporate spaces. And then we got to also bring in the conversation about mass incarceration, right? And how like all of our Black men, like most of our Black men have been in jail. And then when they get out of jail, they're on probation. They don't have access to different government assistance or jobs. So they have to get these under the table jobs, and that doesn't support them, right? So then we're asking them to protect us when they're trying to protect themselves, right? And it's like, when we don't work on the healing aspect of what we got going on inside of us, inside of our minds, inside of our souls, when we understand that people are trying to heal their physical and not their spiritual, but we're asking them to protect us. And some Black men do. That's why it bothers me. That's why I have an issue, because this is not every Black man, just like it's not every Black woman, right? And it's like bringing in both of those conversations to make it a balanced perspective and a balanced understanding, because I'm like, it's deeper than that. It's so many layers under it. So it's easy to just say protect Black women. Let me make it a hashtag. Let me make it trendy, because guess what? In a week or two, ain't nobody gonna be thinking about it, because it's past.
Yeah, but if you play chess and you know that the queen, you know, has all of these moves, and one of her roles is, you know, to kind of protect the king, right? So if you understand that, and you understand who's the decision maker, who's making the decisions, who's making the decisions at these record labels, at these corporations, who's elevating people into these chairman positions, it's not, you know, it's a white man. And who is a white man's biggest enemy? Who is he most jealous of? Who does he most not like for his sexual prowess, his melanin, his penis size? Like, let's just put it all out there. You know what I'm saying? So if we're having this conversation and we're being authentic about it, if you want to get to him, you got to get through me. So how do you irk him? By you just keep on leveling me up. I'm leveling up. He mushed down there. Now you're up there making the decisions, and he's looking like, damn, look at her. She all the way up there doing all this type of stuff. They gotta literally get their stuff out of the mud. That's where all that aggression comes from. Because when you gotta formulate your own bricks out of mud and water, and nothing is being handed to you. You can't get anything. Once you get into this system, once you get into this mass incarceration system, which, by the way, they washing their hands in one way and washing them out on the other, because the same people who make the laws regarding how you get incarcerated are the same ones who have stock and privatized interest in private institutions of mass incarceration. So they're getting paid by the vendors that supply the incarcerated. So they're getting paid, and they're suppressing our community and our family. So I think when I think about the people that people don't feel protected by, and what comes out of that. So once you start the narrative, protect Black women, now all of a sudden we have all these relationship gurus, all these, you know, I'm gonna teach you how to get a man. The Black woman ain't shit. She don't know what she doing. You don't have a man because you fat. You don't have a man because you this. I'm gonna teach you, buy my book, buy my program. Where did that come from? It used to be this, women talking amongst each other about, hey, this how you level up. Oh, sis, this what you need to do. Or sis, this is what I know. But now you got a whole industry of men that get to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
To be with them. And not even to be with them, because 90% of them don't even like us. The people giving us this information, they don't even like us. Right?
Preach.
And you know, it goes to the saying, what you're saying in regards to a lot of spaces we're in where people just don't like Black women. You know, our voices are not heard. People can hear something that we say, and it can be the exact same thing that comes from a white person. It's going to be different. And so for me, when I'm speaking about protecting Black women, it's not about our families. I think we do need to heal. I think we do need to come together as families. But in our spaces where there are so many white people are saying, oh, you know, we're pro-Black and we're there for you Black people and Black women. But when we're in these spaces and we're using our voices, they don't protect us in those spaces. And so they're not going to protect us. And that's where we come in and we protect ourselves spiritually, you know, emotionally, physically, and having conversations like this.
Let's just take an example of what just happened yesterday. So yesterday, I didn't watch it, of course. I didn't see it. But yesterday there was a versus between Fat Joe and
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Ja
Yeah.
Rule. And Fat Joe, who is Puerto Rican descent, made some comment about, you know, Ja Rule you got some dusty bees in the back, you know, they crackheads, whatever. And this was a reference to the two Black women, Vida, and Lil Mo, that were going to be singing hooks on his different songs. Now, Remy Ma was also there, and Ashanti was there. And allegedly, you know, Fat Joe, I guess, presented them at the beginning of it with Birkin bags and some other gifts. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just saw like little different clips. Now, what was interesting to me was that he allegedly apologized to them after, you know, on set or whatever. And then he did like a little apology online. But then immediately after that, Remy Ma made a statement, you know, and she kind of went for Little Mo, like, you know, come on, you being extra.
Yeah.
You didn't, you know, he don't. Why would not all, now it's four, like, just like it's four of us sitting here, it's four of y'all, and it's one Puerto Rican dude. He gets to say that about them. You should be embarrassed. I would have secondhand embarrassment for you if somebody that I rock with disrespected you like that.
Right.
I'm not, and even if I felt like what she said online, I'm not gonna post that because you're my sister and I love you and I support you. And I don't know if on another level your feelings were hurt. I don't know. You know, it's cameras around. We on social media. I don't know how you really felt. You know what I mean? So like, why would I make it look like I don't rock with you? But that's the type of stuff that's become normalized.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's this lack of like sisterhood, right? Yes. It's this lack of sisterhood, but not necessarily always in the collective of just normal folks who are not celebrities, right? It's the celebrities who are kind of still pushing this whole agenda and this message that we are not together as Black women. Because there's a lot of Black women who are coming together, who are deciding to heal, who are getting to the root and getting to the trauma and saying, hey, sis, I see you. I'm going to celebrate you and I authentically mean that. I'm going to tell you you're beautiful and I authentically mean that. But it's like the folks who have access to more money, right? And who also have access to the white man who's making the decision to tell them how they need to act, what they need to say, and all of these things. So when we say protect Black women, is that really what we're saying? Or is it saying like, sis, I don't even feel protected by you, right? I don't even feel like you love me. You don't even address me when we on the street, right? You don't even say hi, right? And y'all we quick sometimes to just jump on a bandwagon and talk down on our sister because it seems convenient, right? It seems trendy. And this is not only the celebrities, this is everybody. Because social media is dangerous. It has allowed folks to be whoever they want to be. And it also has allowed folks to just say things and go off with their fingertips. But when it comes to action, when you're in person, you are silent. You are silent, right? So there's levels to this conversation. So when I hear protect Black women, from all of the things that we talked about, we talking about the breakdown of the Black family. We talking about the lack of sisterhood. We talking about the whole concept of Black men not even being protected, trying to protect themselves, right? Y'all know what also bothers me? Since we're talking about it. So it's like this, it's the struggle that goes on inside of myself when people say that Black women or Black men have privilege, right? So
In what
like,
space?
and you know, and there's levels to the word, right? Because yes, I can walk, some
Yeah.
people can't walk, right? Yes, I have these other things that I am blessed with, so we're not talking about that, right? Let's talk about it systematically. Are you saying that I have privilege as a Black woman, or a Black man has privilege when every time he walks out the house, he doesn't know if he's going to come back, right? Same thing with a Black woman, right? Sandra Bland, may she rest in peace. Breonna Taylor, may she rest in peace. All of these different people, as Black women and Black men, when people say that we have privilege, that bothers me.
Well,
So
I think the people that are saying that are just trying to deflect or have cognitive dissonance to the privilege that's exhibited in the white power structure, because these are often the same people that think that white privilege means that you actually had some stuff. It doesn't mean white privilege has nothing to do with your socioeconomic lot in life.
That's what it
So
is.
privilege with, if someone's thinking that Black people, so some people are saying privilege with probably the Affirmative Action Act or
Right.
things like that, but that
Right.
doesn't have anything. That's not privilege. Let's just be clear about what a privilege is, okay?
Those are crumbs.
Listen, let's be clear about privilege.
Breadcrumbs, okay?
Okay? privilege is I own a company, okay?
Come on.
And my niece comes home for the summer.
Right.
And even though she don't have no bills, I want her to come and see how I run the company. So I give her a paid position that belongs to someone with a degree or several degrees, because I want her to get a paid job. Even though she only gonna keep it for the summer, nobody else can have that job because I want her to have that job, or I'm gonna create a position. That's privilege. Privilege is not me, my Black skin qualifying me to fit in your white corporation because you need to have 10% of your positions filled by women of color. And you get an extra check, you get some bonuses and some grants for that. That's not privilege.
Come on.
You think it's privilege for me to be someplace where you don't really want me and I don't really want to be there, but you get money off of me being there? Get out of here.
Yes.
Come on.
And I wanted to talk about
Go ahead.
Of like really with the whole movement and kind of like how it's been a recent thing. You kind of asked that question of where did it come from. I can't confidently say like where it's been pinpointed, but I think after a lot of like violence towards trans Black women, but also I think it was largely spiked after Breonna Taylor's death. But there's a lot of like seen as like, oh, see, we're supporting you, but it's a lot of commodification of our bodies. I just saw like on Twitter not too long ago of all these like Protect Black Women t-shirts and like shorts and stuff like that, where the money that is being made off of a message and off of a movement that is supposed to be supporting us has been so weird. And like trying to figure out and to be fair, these are Black men and Black women creating these systems of support with these merch and things like that. But the real question is, where is the action that is being applied in our communities as a result of this commodification of all of this stuff, all of our bodies, all the things that people look to us for, you know what I'm saying? The also cultural appropriation piece that comes in a lot when I think about like protecting Black women, and like Malcolm X's quote of like just how much we're taking advantage of, and people try to duplicate what we have or what we represent without actually supporting us and what we have to bring to the table. So that's something that really concerns me in that regard, is all of the monetization of the movement, and where is that money going? Is it supporting the community? And also, what is the purpose behind it? And how can we find other, I feel like, equitable ways to support Black women? Um, like you said, of it, it's very nuanced. You know,
Right.
not everybody's able-bodied. Not
Right.
like there's so many different sub, categories of like
Right.
our personhood. So that's what I think about.
Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. In regards to our communities, our schools, the spaces where Black women are trying to make a difference, it's extremely hard in the school district, more so because the systematic structure of it is to label our Black boys, dismiss our little girls when it comes to, them voicing their opinions. They can say the same thing as a student of another race and get penalized for it. Like my daughter, she received on her academic record, she was disrespectful. Straight A student, 3.9 GPA, played 4 sports, but she was disrespectful because the teacher did not like the way she asked the question.
Oh,
Okay?
don't get me
So
started.
when we speak about the disrespect in regards to our little girls, the adultification bias that our little girls go through in the school district, okay? This is what we talk about protecting. We need to start protecting our children and teach them what family is. Teach them the real dynamics of family structures so we can create our own dynamics so we don't have to be in these systematic structures anymore.
Come on.
But we have to protect from the space of ownership. We got to protect from the space of to stop trusting people to educate our system, because the same things that our daughters will go through with being objectified and adultified and having a stiffer penalty for being passionate or being outspoken, we as grown women go ahead and go through the same thing when our hair is too nappy for their jobs or our attitude is too boisterous for them, and it's a conundrum to me, because it's like Black women get penalized for being excited or animated. Like, I'm a New Yorker, I'm animated, that's it, period. Like, if I had both my hands free, I'd be wop wop wop, and I'm not angry, I'm not pissed off, nothing happened. I'm just passionate, right? But our passion gets to be, they get to decide how to interpret our
with the interpretation.
They get to interpret our passion, right? And it's like be clear. If I'm angry, you're gonna know I'm angry. They don't even allow a space for that. So when our children like to move around or use their voices or, deal with some sensory things a little bit different than everybody else, then it's a problem. But when their kids do it, it's normal, or, they want to, there's a fancy label and there's support groups for it, But when our kids do it, it's a problem, and they need medication, and they're going to go to the juvenile detention center eventually.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, I remember my daughter wearing shorts that weren't short, she just has longer legs. And I have seen white girls' vaginas, okay? I have seen the whole situation, trying to escape
the toe camel,
trying to escape from the shorts.
Come on,
trying to escape, okay? It's trying to come out.
That is
all right. That's okay. That was okay. Now my daughter, that was a problem.
Oh my God,
her little thighs showing was a problem. So yeah, we have to do the things that we need to do for ourselves. We have to do from a position of power. We got all of these. We have all of these resources. We so worried about somebody else's gala. We so worried about somebody else's sports team. We so worried about somebody else's Olympics. We need to be worried about our stuff. Where's our Black fashion houses? Where's our gala? Where's our Olympics? We don't have to do nothing with nobody else. And then we'll be able to heal amongst ourselves and be able to have that energy to protect. You look back at tribal communities back, in Africa's glory, and the men were in some of those places, they are still very protective of the women and of the tribe, know? So that's something that's inherent, and it will naturally come back if we're in our own environment.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is what we got to talk about. Okay, this is what we got to talk about, because yes, we got to speak from a system of power, right? But when you think about a system of power, what does a system of power need in order to stay in power? They need an army. Okay, that is necessary. But guess what? We always prioritizing somebody else healing. We always prioritizing somebody else movement, right? We look at the things that we do and we say, oh yeah, come on. You want to come on. Like a brother in the chat said, there is no organization specifically. It's rare when you see an organization specifically for Black women, right? Because it's always women of color.
Yeah.
Right. And we
Yeah.
don't have that many spaces where it's like, no, this is actually for Black women. And we're going to stand in that unapologetically.
Yeah.
Because we're always trying to bring people into the fold. But what have we learned from the past movements where we bring
But that's
people into the fold?
divisive.
This is no shade.
That's
towards
part of
any
the
other race.
problem.
That's
Part of
what
the
I'm
problem.
saying.
You're
We
being
start having these
divisive.
conversations, but people aren't always ready to really have the conversation. Sometimes it's a time for peace and love. It's a time for accountability. It's a time for war. Okay, like there's levels. And if you want to be in power and you want to build a system that is outside of the system that we are currently in, we are never going to get into that space until we are willing to say, did you just kill that sister in our house? All right, where the army at? We pulling up.
Yeah.
Right? We never are going to get into that space until we can understand all of the different like levels of what it means to truly have a nation.
Yeah.
No, we too busy killing each other over stuff that don't belong to us. 287.
Come on.
287 people, Chicago? Seriously? That's what y'all decided to do? I'm like, I don't understand it. I don't like if we took a tenth of that energy. If we took a tenth, we don't even need the whole energy. If we took a tenth of that energy and became, I think it was Farrakhan who said that our enemy's biggest fear is that if we ever actually treated them like they have treated us, that's what they're really afraid of. If we ever actually treated people like they have treated us,
they're gonna be scared.
Somebody said, y'all lucky Black people don't want revenge. Y'all think people angry now. People probably think we angry having this discussion. That's also probably hilarious. But you're lucky that Black people don't want revenge. Because if people were to experience a fraction of the violence that had the atrocities that have been committed against us, it would not survive. They would not survive. It's so important to the point about sometimes in looking, accountability within our own community, because yes, we want to heal and we want to be able to also say, we want to be the first ones to speak out and say, hey, nope, we're not doing that, and make sure that we're on the same accord. We have to definitely divest from things that are not serving our community. And I feel like it's so hard to do that, especially because being this subject to this, patriarchal society, a society that is run by white supremacy, sometimes, especially with, this newer age and, generations, that's all that we know. And so sometimes it can be hard and people can be stuck in this. I don't know anything outside of operating under a patriarchal white supremacist society. And what does it look like for me to prioritize Black people? What does it look like for me to prioritize Black women in every facet of the word? You know what I'm saying? Prioritize. That means that you think that Black women are a priority in everything that you do, whether that's healthcare, like you said, talked about in education as well, even from when you're a Black girl, when you're right in your adolescence. What does that look like to truly divest? And it's going to take some uncomfortability, but what does it look like to divest and to actually support Black businesses, to support, our good sis has a business over here that needs some support. Even me as a creative, it is so hard to sometimes hear, we're tired of the slave movies and we need this to be made, and like we need these better stories, and we have people writing the scripts. I know a whole army. I have an army of people who are ready. They're writing the scripts. They're in these rooms trying to pitch under, once again, white supremacist patriarchal society. They're in these rooms. We're trying, but when it's time to click the link to donate for the crowdfunding, the film, for the budget of the film, sometimes our community can be absent, and sometimes that's due to lack of, like, recognition, and sometimes that can go with marketing and things of that sort.
Right.
But I believe that sometimes we can get in our own way, and we have to divest from what we know, get uncomfortable. It may be uncomfortable, but we have to do that. Like, yeah, go to the website. You don't have to go to Walmart today and buy
Right.
that laundry detergent. We buy black.com, guy, black owned laundry detergent, and you gonna buy your groceries by paying for that. Like, instead of a corporation that is also investing in privatized prisons. Like, make yourself uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's so important to be aware of, like, what do you give your energy towards, and what society do you want to see for your community?
Right.
And what does that look like? And does that match what you're currently doing in your day to day? And I think that's what we look at.
Right.
Yeah, we have to have more spaces to recycle our dollar. So our community has to start looking like a lot of these other cultures, where they have their own church, they have their own bank, they have their own everything.
Town. They have their own town.
They have their own everything. And we have to stop, having 1/10 of the dollar, right?
Yeah.
So we got, and then the other part of it is, like, we were talking offline about how a lot of Black businesses will have a business, but then it's like, you're not manufacturing the product. So we're still not at the top of the food chain, and we have to work on those parts of it, right? So it's like the hair industry is a $1 industry. We don't own nothing. We have a few Black people that have their faces slapped on Black products, but we don't own anything. We're not creating anything. Meanwhile, overseas in Africa, they got all the land, all the resources, none of the skills. How about if a place over there became one of the largest manufacturers of hair, or the largest manufacturers of nail polish, any of these things. We have to be more intentional about not just how we're recycling our dollar, but making sure it's a clean, cycling through, and that starts at the origin of a thing. The origin. How many Black owned computer parts do we have? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have to think about every single thing that we use on a day-to-day basis.
It makes it Black. I mean, it started off Black, if we're being honest. Black people invented it. We just don't have the access to the patent.
It's been exhausted.
Right. But we still gotta get back to the system, though. We gotta always come back to the system, right? Because there was a time in the past where we had access to those types of communities, and what happened? They got burned to the ground, right? They got burned. I just seen a post, and I haven't done too much research on it, so I'm not too in depth in it. But it says something about, like, Central Park, how it used to be like a Black-owned village, and they burned it down to build up Central Park, and then of course Black Wall Street. Right. So we understand all of these different things. And in order to actually have spaces like that are going to stay consistent, because we're not saying that Black people never did it. We've tried to do this a few times, a lot of times throughout history. But there's always this level of, we don't really have the army. We don't have the mental capacity to really take it there and not be afraid, because it's like this embedded fear that is still inside of us that people don't want to acknowledge, right? Because that ancestral trauma is real, and that dehumanization that they embedded in us. Slavery was psychological warfare more than it was chattel warfare. This is what we got to understand. They literally tried and succeeded in some ways to break down our minds and take away from us our history, how we see ourselves, our worthiness, and all of these different things. So it's not always about you and what you've experienced so far in this world and in this lifetime, right? Sometimes it's about what your ancestors experienced and it's still inside of you, right? It's levels.
It's crazy because I took civil rights tour when I was in college, and I think what messed me up, or one of the things that I strongly remember, was on one of our tours. We were in some state in the South, I believe, and during one of the museum tours, learning about the fact of how with the Atlantic slave trade, how even till today, like some of the sharks still travel the same path, swimming in the ocean, because with the body
Wow.
going overboard and that they would have blood, they still travel that same
That's
path
levels
today. And that's generations of
of shark trauma.
and knowing that they as a herd
Oh my
travel the
gosh.
same path that the boats went because they know that they would feast. Is like people don't understand the, once again, with
That's
those things are, it's like, oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong today? And it's like, I'm do you understand how many things I'm probably processing right now?
right.
Like people don't understand, when it comes to circling back around to protecting Black women specifically. Like you don't understand how many things
Right.
have trained because look at the animals. Like so it's just like you don't understand like how damaging some of this can be, and it's like there's no grace or like
Right.
me having an off. No, well, I need you to come into work. Well, no, I don't feel good, and
Right.
I need to prioritize my health. No, well, no, you can take it. I just no, you can't just ibuprofen. You can't just like. So
Right.
people don't understand. It's like the pushing down of the trauma.
Yes.
I'm so happy that a lot of women are starting circles, starting businesses
Right.
that support our healing. I think that
Yes.
be prioritized, in
Right.
order for our success as a community, in regards to our joy and our peace is so important. So there's that warfare as well in terms of how ingrained talking about slavery. So now, like the remnants of that we're still in, you need to prioritize your mental health, and that is not supported. And that's why I say Black women are not protected in that regard. And
Come on. That's facts.
that needs to be
Yeah.
That's
I
It's
facts.
it's
I
it's like if
agree.
we say Black Lives Matter, though,
mm-hmm.
right? So people were like, "Oh, why are y'all dividing and saying Black Lives Matter?
Mm-hmm.
All lives matter. Why are you identifying specifically Black lives?" And I think that, when you talk about protecting Black women and Black Lives Matter, and we talk about the monetization of that level of consumerism is what this country is built on, right? So like, unfortunately, I've lost a couple of family members to cancer. And one of the reasons why I do not donate to any cancer foundation is because I have understood that they are not interested in a cure. They are never going to cure it. You're going to march, you're going to wear pink, you're going to have socks, you're going to have cute shirts, bands, anything you want, but they are not going to cure it. And the reason that they're not going to cure it is because there's no money in a cure.
It's a
Days more
business.
cancer,
The
everybody's going to start
business.
living longer, eating better. They're not going to do that. So in the same way that they're not going to cure cancer,
Mm-hmm.
what is the motivation for Black lives to matter? What is the motivation
What's
for
the
Black
motive?
women to be protected? What is the motivation?
A
So
word.
I have a mantra that I say to my kids, and in all things, consider the source. What is the source? The source of racism has to do with money. So when the monetization of slavery got taken away from this country and generational wealth was impacted, they created another system, which was mass incarceration, to go ahead and replace that system,
Replace,
right?
The
yes,
new
that's
Jim
So
right.
Crow.
Yep.
Come
so
on. The
now
new Jim Crow. Let's talk
so
about it.
after they replaced
Come
that
on.
system with mass incarceration because they
Come
had to
on.
slow down. Our generational wealth, they didn't want us to catch up. Okay,
No.
so
Come
now
on.
we're so significantly behind that
Right.
everything is an attack on
Yeah.
us not having generational wealth.
Come on. You
They
need to
they
work
try to
harder.
ensure
You
and
need
make
to do
sure
this.
that our generational wealth is not there. The
Come
Yeah.
only
on.
way, the only way we're worthy of generational wealth is entertaining them in their
Come
systems.
on.
Ooh, talk about that right
Come
there. Oh
on.
my goodness.
If we are not jumping, hooping, running,
singing,
Bucking.
rapping. If we're
Come
not
on.
bucking for them,
Come
we don't
on.
have a shot
Right.
at having that 1%. We don't have
Yeah.
a shot. We don't have a shot.
And it's levels to the 1%.
And
It's
it
levels
is
to the
levels to the
1%.
1%. But my thing is, you can look in that 1%, and there's some people in that 1% that are like, they made a widget or something, corny, something cool. We don't have that luxury.
Right.
We don't have that as a luxury. We're not getting to the 1% unless we hooping or playing their games.
Right.
Yeah.
So protecting the Black, and when you talk about protecting the Black woman, you also got to look at the fact that we have a population problem happening right now, people. I don't know if you understand this. I don't know if nobody knows this right now. I don't know if we had this, if the memo went out, but our wombs are kind of the ish, okay? We're the only women on the planet that have the Eve gene. We can make anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We can make anybody. We can make with anybody and replicate anybody. So our womb is the temple, okay? It's the pearl, right? And
you guys
people
hear
want
about
that.
this?
People want that. People want that because now some other people's populations are going down. Okay, that's why they're trying to make abortion illegal. Y'all can't just be aborting these white babies now. Wait a minute,
Right?
We ain't got that many.
Wow.
It's us and Spanish people are the two most fertile people on the planet. We're the only We're the only two that our population is not decreasing. So they want rental. They want to get some space.
Right.
Not my space is no, not me. But y'all.
No. I'm done.
Oh my gosh. Sister Asia, did you have something you wanted to share?
Oh no, she just went right on in. Go ahead, girl. What you, sister?
Oh my goodness.
I agree.
Oh, go ahead.
When it comes to us, like we are the most creative.
Mm-hmm.
We are in my opinion, the most intelligent. How many most black women have multiple degrees to be in different spaces. And we've always figured shit out. Like, we can be in the worst predicament ever, okay? The worst predicament ever, but we will figure it out and we will find a way to succeed in that space. And we're always going to have people envious and jealous of us. That's where there's no protection for us because we excel at everything we do.
That's facts.
That's our
facts.
ancestors. That's our ancestors, man. I was just having this conversation with my aunt yesterday about my great grandmother, right? So like my great grandfather divorced her and left her with 7 kids, where at a time where people didn't really, women didn't have options, you know what I mean? But she was a hustler and she rented the rooms in her house. She washed clothes. He still was kicking her down money and still seeing his kids. But it's the principle that at that time, there weren't that many options for women,
Right.
And she still was a hustler. And I said,
figured it out.
Yeah, she figured it out. And I told my aunt, I'm like, that's in me. That's in me. I have that.
It's in me, not on me. And y'all know, I wanted to bring something else up because I thought about it when Sister Tajia said something, but y'all was going in, so I didn't want to interrupt. But it's like this, it's this veil on people, on some Black folks as well, but like other races. And when you say that whole concept of what's wrong, slavery was so long, what's wrong?
Yeah,
right. It's this veil.
And
exactly. And I'm not saying that I like mess with Trump. Okay, but I'm about to go there. I'm about to hit y'all heads real quick, right?
Come on.
When Trump started going in on everybody, now people wanted to be like, this is oppression feels like this. This is what it. Oh no, we have to get him out of office. We have to get him out of office. We've been saying this. Black people, Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna put it in my car.
Right.
Black Lives Matter. George Floyd, may he rest in peace. Black Lives Matter. Right. So it's like this veil that people want to wear on their head, and they're still doing it today. Right. I was reading a post on Instagram. And I'm a person, I go through the comments because I like to see people's thought process. And I don't be wanting to respond because I don't have time for no social media debates, but I still want to read it. Like, I want to see where people at. And brother Shaka Bars, he posted something. It was like Chloe and her sister, and it was Kylie and Kendall, right? And somebody was like, people are always comparing these two to each other and not Kylie and Kendall, right? And then the brother Shaka Bars, he was like, because of racism. Everybody was going in on him, talking about, you always trying to talk about racism. They do compare Kylie and Kendall, like, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. That's not the point, right? It's not the point. It's just the fact that y'all always like have this whole conception that racism isn't real until it impacts you.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. When it's convenient for you, now you want to stand with black people because you know black people gonna come in with that work. So then you want to hype us up. Show us that you support us. Because you know once we get hyped up, we gonna be out there turning up in the streets.
Yeah.
But then there's still this level of we're not even turning up in the ways that we need to turn up. Because we too busy twerking at protest. Right? You think that they take us serious? There's a time and a place for a twerk. I love a good twerk. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the protest is not the place nor the time. What are we celebrating? I thought we was fighting for something. There's levels to it. But it's like we gotta just like I'm just like, y'all, like it's this veil and it's so convenient.
Yeah.
Right? It's so convenient for everybody to be like, racism doesn't exist. I don't see color. Yes you do, because look how good it look.
Right.
What do you mean you don't see color?
Right.
You want some of this goodness? What you mean?
Everywhere
you don't see no melanin. How can you not see it? It's glowing, sis.
So how do you know when to
see it?
discriminate if you don't see color?
Come on.
They say that because it's like the Rodney King statement. Can't we all just get along? So when I hear people say I don't see color, what I hear them saying sometimes is that the weight of seeing color is so heavy. And if I have to sit with this, if I have to really sit with the fact that people treated y'all this way, if I have to sit with the fact that my ancestors probably caused your ancestors some pain, if I really sit with that, I'm going to not be able to function. That's going to be a very uncomfortable space for me. So I need to envision a utopia where we all get along and color is not existent. Because I don't have the capacity, I don't have the bandwidth to even begin to explore the type of pain that your people must have went through. You don't know what it could have been like for someone to be in love. Someone to be in love with somebody else and a white man just kick down the door, take his wife, rape her, leave her for dead, sell her the next day, rip his family apart. He don't know where she's at. He don't know. He ain't never gonna see her again. You don't know what that did. You don't know about breeding. You don't know about these men being used to just have sex with everybody that has some hips on the plantation and have all these kids everywhere and not be able to raise none of them. You know what it meant for someone not to have no freedom. We're not talking about 50 million years ago. We're talking about within 100 years ago. It was legal for someone to just walk up into your house. You don't know pain like a man walking down the street minding his business and a crime happened in the next town, and because he's a black man, he's going to prison for the rest of his life. You don't know what it's like for a 13-year-old to be executed for nothing. You don't know what it's like for a mother to send her child to the South to be with his uncle and him not come back alive, and she can't even close his casket. You don't want to sit with that. So you don't see color because you'd have to sit with that every day. Like we got to sit with it. And you ain't built for this.
You ain't built for
this.
Yes. You ain't built for it.
And if they sit with it, then they would actually recognize and understand that all of their wealth comes from their ancestors was on the back of
slave money.
Our back.
Slave money. Talk about generational wealth.
Right.
Come on.
If all of them, white people, if every single white person who has wealth put 1% of their savings into a bank, we would have enough money for reparations.
Come on. Well, let's go. Let's get to collecting, baby.
Come on now.
Somebody,
I'm ready.
ahead, Sister
My
Tati.
cash
Oh.
app is money sign TAJI.
Stop it.
Yes.
Cash app. Let's start the movement.
I think
Money
that,
sign.
like, that is so,
Yes.
that is so real because
Oh my God.
It is.
they just make it's a lot of like what you said about like the entertainment thing, and I think that they thrive off of seeing like the fruit of being like, okay, I can leech on to, okay, you know, here's Black culture, right? And it's so wealthy. Black culture is so wealthy. It produces so much money, and in order to cause a distraction, in order to keep the entertainment going, and for us to still profit off of this, going back to the whole comparison thing of Black women are always pitted against each other, even like I said, Chloe and Halle, like, whether it's, oh my gosh, in history, music groups, girl groups, oh, this person goes solo, oh, well, this person's better, and okay, well, she's, you know, well, the light skin one and the dark skin one and this one, like, it's always a comparison. And then you have you plant that seed, so then you make the women do that against each other. The hard,
Right.
We always ready to come with. That's why I kind of stopped with the recent, you know, shows and things like that. I try to just take it at face value and be like, you know what? All context and analysis aside, that Black woman did a wonderful job.
Right.
No matter if I agree with what she wore, with
Come
how
on.
she performed it, and
on.
there's nuance to that. Not saying
That's
that
her business.
critique, but at the same time, I'm sick of Black women being people hyper fixating on us, right? And then also us against each other. We always ready. Okay, come with the notes. Her
Come on.
outfit, it wasn't right. Nope, she was
on.
off key. Okay,
Come on.
like all these things that don't really serve us, and eat it up. They eat it up to see
Come on,
it.
Wendy Williams talking
Go-
about Tabitha Brown and her man. Come on. That ain't none of your business.
Don't even get me started on
But that comes from
they plant that.
That comes from that competitiveness and that tear your sister down. So you got to remember, there was a time when all we had was each other.
Yeah.
All we had was our community, our hair salons, our barbershops, our church. That's where we could let our hair down, put
Come
our
on.
feet up, kick
Talk
it,
about it.
be genuine with each other.
Come
when
on.
the vendetta against the Black family ramped up, okay, in the late 60s and early 70s, after many of our leaders were killed, the lack of males in the homes and the lack of available males, and the fact that if you got a male, if you were in the projects or you were in the system and you got a man and that was like your way out, okay, it's 4 of us in this room and it's one man. All right. I have to get that man because I want to get out the projects. I don't want to live in the projects for the rest of my life. So that energy, you know, and I'm not saying that that's the totality of it, but a lot of that energy comes from that time period. Then you just add in social media. You add in that you can instantly be gratified with a keystroke. You can instantly be gratified with the app. Okay. You can instantly be gratified. Right? So now you can sit in, you know, Georgia and I can sit in Florida and you can pick my picture apart just because you feel like it.
Right.
You're not vested. You're not interested.
Right.
You don't care about me. You don't know me personally. You don't know what type of person I am. But we have the technology that allows us to do that. And it's supported because there's no active interest in us being connected. This moment we're having right now, there's no active interest in this.
Right.
This isn't interesting.
Come on. They don't want to talk about it. They don't.
This isn't interesting. The people would much rather watch a man that wears kitten heels, you know, disrespect a woman and tell her that she's a 2, you know, than 4 beautiful, intelligent Black women sit and reason and speak on things. People will much rather that's gonna get a zillion views.
Mm-hmm.
They eat it up.
And it goes back to post-traumatic slavery disorder. You know,
Yeah.
it's in slavery, primarily they would pin us against each other on purpose.
To
And
cause.
they would say, the house slave had to tell them the slaves that's in the field. What did he do? Did he go against my rules? Did he violate any policies?
Mm-hmm.
Because if he did,
Yes,
I'm going to
Massa.
punish him.
Right.
And then once I
Exactly.
punish him, I'm going to go forward and I'm going to reward you
Right.
for telling on him.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that mentality is literally in our bloodlines now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Come on.
And we have to be intentional in regards to breaking those cycles. It's
Right.
very hard, but we have to be very intentional in regards to breaking the cycles. Every time I see another woman, another Black woman, say something bad about another Black woman, you know what I do? I say, I want to hear it.
Come
I
on.
don't. Because that's none of my business.
Yeah.
Come
That
on.
don't have nothing. That does not have anything to do with my house, paying my mortgage, taking care of my family and my kids.
Come on.
Now, if it has something to do with what she's doing excelling, I'm going to support, I'm going to uplift,
on.
and I'm going to encourage. And that's
Right.
the mindset we need to get back into.
That's facts. That's facts. A sister in the chat, she said this a while ago, and I've been waiting. Y'all know I'll be trying to find my inch. But she said that some white people do feel guilty. And
No.
so,
Do they give us their money?
No, but look. Let's look at it like this. I believe my brother Rizza Islam broke this down so beautifully. But he was saying, like, it's not about the individual white people. It's about the system of white supremacy. This is what people got to understand. So when we talk about like racism, everybody always talking about, well, I'm not racist, but you can still have privilege and profit off of white supremacy.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's not about you not having these views. Understand that just as much as there's traumas in our bloodline, though, it's also in yours.
Right.
So you still got a wicked bloodline, but I understand right now in this moment you don't have these views, right? So, but it's not about this individual white person. Just because they don't feel guilty, it doesn't matter. It's about the system, right? There's levels. When this white person is gone, guess what? The system will still be
It still
here
exists.
until something changes. When the white people who are on top are gone, somebody else has already been groomed to take their place to keep
Right.
the system going, right? Now, granted, the system is breaking down slowly but surely. Like there's things that's happening and you can
Burn
see
it all.
it happening, but let's just make that clear, right? It's not about individual white people feeling guilty. You have no, what you gonna do about it? I hear you. It sound good, right? It sound good, but it ain't really no power behind what you saying.
Yeah.
People got to understand that privilege is about a system being generated that whether you participated or not, for the rest of your life, you get a check. You get an interest check. Okay? If I create a system right now that for the rest of my children and their children's lives, they get a check, that's privilege. Racism and so many white people say Black people can be racist. Black people have been racist against me. I've experienced racism. Here's the thing.
No.
Because we don't own any systems of power, we own no structures of power. Ism is a system. So we cannot be racist. We can be prejudiced. We can prejudge you based on your skin tone. That's a thing. That's very real. But racism, I can't keep you from having a family. I can't keep you from housing that will get your child the correct education. I don't own anything. I don't run any systems that actually control how your life is going to go out. You understand? So I don't have that power, but you definitely have that power over me because all of these systems were invented and created by white men.
Right.
So, and they're all for their interest to gain. If you had a plug that was bringing you in $100 million a year, and all of a sudden for moral value, you no longer had access to that plug, right?
Yeah.
You're going to do everything in your power to recreate that $100 million a year. And you're going to do everything in your power to keep other people from catching up to you. That's how it works. It's not about individual. People get so, and that's the thing, that white guilt. Last year, I remember
It was a movement at the height of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, the Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and all of that. There were white people, they were just giving away money because they didn't know what to do. They was like, I don't know how to not, benefit from this, but I have some money. What do I do with it? They was just giving money away. But that's not the answer. The answer is, well, that's part of the answer. Cash App.
Where can we find them?
Cash App, money sign, A.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's part of it. But see, what I tell my white friends is that the biggest thing that you can do is to occupy your space as an ally. Because here's the thing, you're able to be in rooms and places that I may not get access to. But in those rooms and spaces, you got to be advocating for me. You got to be advocating for the systems and structures that benefit me and my kids. That's how you are able to actually deconstruct this, because it's your system. It's not my system. Just like it's not my responsibility to educate you about the system that was created to oppress me. It's not my job to dismantle it. It's your job.
Yeah.
It's yours. And that's how you do it. You got to use your voice in every possible way to dismantle it. Yeah. You get to show up and show out on my behalf. That's it, because they're going to listen to you.
But while they over there dismantling it, we not dependent on them.
No,
right. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. People it's like, exactly. It's levels to it. I'm not finna depend on you to go dismantle a system, because I also understand how you get down. So in my face, you over here talking about you want to help, you all for the power and all that stuff. But when it really comes down to it, you gonna get on cold real quick and switch over. There's many times in history where it was like the white impoverished people were working with black folks. Then the white people who were the elites come in, start talking spicy to the white folks who are impoverished, and all of a sudden they don't mess with us no more. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we don't have to look far. That happened the last election. You had so many interracial couples that found out, I am married to a racist. Like, sis, what you thought?
Right. That's
what
why I'm saying. That's why it's levels. It's levels. That's why it's like, as an ally, you can go over there and have those different conversations. But I'm going to be over here focusing on supporting my sisters heal. Yes. And we're going to heal as a collective. Yes. And then once we work and we get in like a little flow and a process of our healing, now we're going to talk to our black men. Once the black man is working on their healing, we're going to come together. We're going to have conversations so we can heal as a collective. Once we heal as a collective, now let's work on really building out this family and figuring out what's going on, right? There's levels to what we got going on inside of us. Okay, now let's talk about the Army. Let's talk about our nation. Let's talk what we need to do, y'all. Like
that's one of my biggest disappointments with Africa as a whole, is that, after slavery, after it ended, the stealing of people ended, that collectively, and I understand the level of brokenness, but I just felt like, had as a continent, the motherland closed their borders, created a universal army. Imagine all 50, I believe it's 53 countries had their own army, and then all of those armies created a universal army and protected those borders and kept people from coming in. Did like the Asian countries did, and said, nobody come in. Y'all can't come in. We trying to get ourselves together. When we get ourselves together, we'll open up. We don't want to hear nothing y'all talking about. Imagine if we did that. How strong our brothers and sisters over there would have been, and then they would have been able to send ships over here to come and get us, or to tear some shit down. You know what I mean? Like, bust all this, kick this whole fort over.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't get that.
That's because it's even more trauma over there, though, as it is over here, which we don't acknowledge. Oh, yeah. Right? Because there's levels to colonization. It's a lot of African folks who are impacted by white supremacy just as much as we are, and they're operating from that same, putting us against each other. So it's like this level of, I can't really trust you all the way because you low-key don't really mess with me. So when we try to talk about sisterhood, when we try to talk about brotherhood and just the Black community as a whole, we can't always just rock with them because, and this is some but not all. Just remember, it's always some but not all. But it's a mentality over there that they don't mess with us because we were a part of slavery. But sis, bro, like, you were also a part of slavery. Like, you have been colonized. It's the same thing in a different place.
And I want to be mindful as well, because I had, and like, this is a form of privilege, as well as having a direct tie to the mothers, because my dad is from Nigeria. Knowing that the resources and the literal gold, but also figuratively and everything, of all of the resources and energy that has been drained Africa in general, and how hard it is to rebuild something that was torn down. Also, with the resources that were drained in Africa, and trying to rebuild your nation, and also having a lot of corruptness, because you're, once again, as we talk about Black American community, the internal colonization of mind, and over there having multiple kind of strikes against you in terms of the internal corruptness, and also the resources that have been drained from there, trying to rebuild a nation that is trying to come back from years and years of oppression, where they have to also receive, they've received, very minimal payback for all of the resources that they give to the rest of the world. And that is the bare minimum of, we're trying to make scraps. We're trying to, make $1 out of 15 cents, essentially, of trying to gain those resources back that have been drained out of them by other, by us, meaning America, us, literally, Black people, and other countries, of, I'm paying you to also, I'm also exploiting you at the same time, and I'm giving you crumbs because you have nothing else to go off of right now. And I feel like, especially with all the different wars and stuff, and dealing with those internal conflicts, which I feel like something that is being worked on now, and I can only really, I know more so about Nigeria, Africa as a whole, so excuse me for generalizing, but I think, like, there's also that element of, like, trying to save yourself from the war that is being put against you. And the same thing with us, Black woman is trying to save herself from the everyday war of, I gotta step outside, I was just in the car the other day, or was it last night? Like, okay, OPD, here we are in Oakland, gotta watch, let me look over my shoulder, the constant internal fight of, like, I have to make sure that I'm okay, and also trying to fight to also, once again, privilege of access and power. I don't have that access and power to make sure that I'm okay in these different facets. So you're talking about, like, making sure that we're not waiting for the powers that be to give that to us, and people talking about how, oh, the Black woman is this, you could be racist too, and I don't like her attitude, and da-da-da-da. But I don't have the power and access to elevate that. You have power and access that you need to leverage to the Black woman, because everything that she touches is going to produce gold tenfold. So I think that making sure, once again, the internal colonization of, once again, it's very bad, but wanting to heal from that, and also at the same time, not victim blame, because we have been through so much, to also be like the powers that be. Once again, once you love people more than you love power, everything changes. So once that happens, then you divest from everything as you know it. You get uncomfortable. You leverage your power to Black people, specifically Black women. We become in these other positions of power. The people in power have to divest and also leverage power. Once you let go of that power and you love the people more than you love that power, and you start to, okay, I'm holding on to this power so tight, but once you starting to loosen that grip, then, oh, okay, I'm gonna give this money to this Black family. Okay, I'm gonna give this position to this Black woman. Once that happens, whole bunch of doors gonna open. whole bunch of doors going to open. But at the same time, we're not waiting for you. We're going to do our
No.
internal work in our community. But at the same time, there's nuance. So we want to be very mindful of, like, yes, there are certain places where we literally do not have the power to do certain things. But so putting that accountability, the powers that be must open their hands and leverage that power. Otherwise, where is it going to come from? Besides in our internal, once again, within our community, making sure that we're doing this, that we're talking, that we're donating and circulating our wealth within each other, making sure that we're buying from Black businesses, making sure that we're going to therapy, making sure that we're doing X, Y, and Z at the same time. So it's like, yes, and also this. It's nuance. It's all of the above, I think.
Yeah.
I hope that made sense.
I love it.
But yeah.
I love it. And, I think too, when it comes to the spaces we're in, just using our voices and letting people know we are authentically who we are. We are authentically ourselves. We're not going to conform in your space and be what you want us to be. And I think it's very important for not only just Black men, but for Black women, when we're creating our businesses and we're doing a lot of entrepreneurship events and giving out information to our community, it's very important that we don't just tell our people to get loans and get money from the government and try to get as much as we can, because if we use our own money and we invest in ourselves, we won't owe anybody back. You know? When you take money from certain entities and certain systems, they control your business. They tell you how you can operate. They tell you how your structure is going to be. They tell you you have to do this, you have to do that. But when you come from the bottom and you start from scratch and you just keep making money on your own, you don't answer to nobody. You're creating your own system that way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There's levels to that though, right? Then that means we got to connect with the Black folks who actually got some money, because we can't we can't just talk to the. It's like, and that's why I be so like, I be struggling when it comes to some of the Black folks who are doing these courses, who are spiritual. Like me and Sister Kai talk about it all the time. But it's like this whole, like, it's this energy and this movement of you need to invest in yourself if you want to receive back what you invested, right? And that, I understand it, but it bothers me so much because you acting like we just got 10 racks to invest into you.
It's both.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then what you're saying is you want us to swipe a credit card. So you want us to get in debt to invest into you, and you saying it's investing into ourselves. And now what if we don't make that return from your magical program? So now we in debt to the white man even deeper. You know? Yeah. And that's why
I think the exploitation of, to me, the levels of protecting the Black woman and protecting the Black family, it starts internally, right? So we got this situation going on in the Black community where you can't say anything about a Black man because it's a Black man. You got to put some respect on his art. You got to put some respect on what he's doing, because it's enough people out here trying to tear the Black man down. And, that comes from family secrets. That comes from the culture of what happens in the house stays in the house. But it's so hurtful to us, because the reality is we got to be able to separate that somebody is actually a predator. Somebody is actually a scam artist. Somebody is actually unhealthy and should be cut out of the community, right? And not just jump on the bandwagon. And the other thing that makes it so dangerous is that we lose critical thinking skills during this process. So while we blindly follow this person or that person, I'm not going to name no names, but while we blindly follow some of these people that don't need to be followed and work and act like we're supporting their agendas, we don't even understand, and we haven't even unpacked who they are. And a lot of times we got to understand something like, if I tell you, hey, sis, I'm the best at what I do. You come
and give me your money, and you know you're gonna be the best at what you do at what I do, all right? Come on over, right?
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm just gonna talk it up so good that you're gonna be excited.
It's
Now you
fluff.
ready, right? Now I
Fluff.
got you didn't even go and look and see, well, is she the best at what she does?
Right. Where are the receipts?
Right.
I need some
Where the
receipts.
receipts? Because
I need
people
some
can just get
receipts.
on here and show you anything and say
Right.
anything. I mean,
Right.
when we talk about we have to protect, I think it's from within.
Right.
It's from within. And
Yep.
these moments, like I have always said that we have to, you know, start talking amongst each other, Black women to Black women, supporting each other, loving each other. Anytime I see a young Black woman out and about, I don't care if she got her head down, if she's not feeling it, I'ma still be like, hey sis, oh, you so beautiful.
Right.
You know, like especially and she's super dark, she can forget about it. She's gonna think I'm a stalker because it's really important for me. You know, it's really important, especially in the South, that women everywhere, melanated women everywhere, feel loved, feel supported, feel beautiful, and know that it's other people that see them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to feel seen because
Yes.
we might be the only 2 people in the store. And,
Right.
you know, they might be beating you up all day, talking
Right.
crazy to you. I know how it goes.
Come
So
on.
I just got to say one positive thing, and now you smiling, or now you have a little bit more strength to deal with it. Because we
Right.
all have PTSD. We're
Yeah.
all going through it. Everybody's
Come
going
on.
through it.
Yeah.
Come
If
on.
you're a Black woman in America in 2021, you have PTSD.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
I sat in my car the other day at the gas
Quote.
station, not even in an unsafe neighborhood. I wasn't any place unsafe, but it was just too much activity. It was more activity than I wanted, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't even get gas. I just pulled off.
I'm with you on
I
that.
just pulled off. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go to a
Too
different
much
gas
going
station.
on.
Not that anything, it wasn't the fact that to my mind, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the fact that, oh my God, something is going to happen, but I was just like, I don't like the energy. I don't like it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
that
It's getting me
intuition.
uncomfortable.
That's that intuition
Yes.
and being able to trust that intuition. And that's why sometimes we don't have access to that either, which is a part of our healing journey, because people are always trying to tell us, oh, you tripping, right? What are you talking about? It's fine. It's fine. No, it's not. Okay. My inner God is telling me that I need to get up out of here. My spirit guides are telling me that this ain't the place for me. But y'all always trying to make us doubt ourselves and doubt what we're talking about, doubt our power, tell us we're intimidating. You know what they always used to say to me? It feels like you're impacting the space, right? You're impacting the space. You don't seem like you want to be here. Sis, I'm pregnant. You just said I don't. Maybe I don't. I probably don't want to be here. I'm pregnant. It's my first time being pregnant. I'm hormonal. I'm a Black woman. I'm emotional. I'm all of these different things, and it seemed like I don't want to be here. Maybe you right. Maybe I should go. Like, and it's just levels, and it's always this like need to feel like we gotta tiptoe.
Right.
Tiptoe around our power. Tiptoe
Yeah.
around our light. Dimming our light. Somebody said, I am no longer making myself palatable for other people. You can choke.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can choke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear my head wrap however high I want to wear my head wrap.
Yeah.
When I'm ready to be quiet, I'm gonna be quiet. But when I'm ready to be loud, just trust you gonna feel me.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have time for that no more. And this is why I had to leave from pouring into somebody else's legacy and build and get it how I live to pour into my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah.
Yes,
Levels.
I love that.
It's levels.
We have to support each other, and you know, I think so. It's just the same like if you go into a relationship. I think a relationship, people always say a relationship is 50-50. I always say a relationship is 100 and 100.
100.
Amen.
Because you got to be a whole person.
Whole people.
You have to be completely healed. You have to be accountable and be walking in your purpose. You have to know that you know who you are.
Yeah.
So that you don't create additional trauma for that other person, right?
Or
So
for the next generation.
Or for the next generation. And it's the same. We're in a relationship. Wow. In the Black community, we're in a relationship. We all got to show up whole.
But keep going. Keep going.
We gotta
stop, but keep going though.
We gotta show up whole. We gotta show up as whole women.
Wow.
You know, we gotta show up as whole mothers. We gotta show up as whole wives. We gotta show up as whole sisters. You know, all the roles that we have, we gotta show up whole. And then that way we can be whole for our kids, and our kids can be whole. Because we got a lot of broken children. And they're broken because adults broke them, just like a man can break a woman.
They come up and they're disconnected adults. Yes. It's the same, it's a level. But that's why we're doing the work we're doing right now, right? That's why we have sister circles that, you know, I'm getting together and bringing some women together. That's why we have the SistaaHood series. That's why soon this is going to be something way bigger than we can even imagine at this moment. That's why I'm always collaborating and connecting with Black women, because I see the power in the collective. That's why as a motivational speaker, I say I speak to Black women and Black girls, not girls of color. This is why I say what I say, because it's a necessary space. I remember when I was younger and I didn't feel like I had a community who truly understood me. I remember when my mom was working on loving herself, so she couldn't even teach me how to love myself. I remember. That's why it's important for me to connect Black women. That's why I want to have a Sisters Heal network, where we have a network of healers and educators and doctors and women to be sent out to other Black people and to heal our community. It's levels to this.
Yes. And that's why the book is on pre-sale.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's why I wrote my book. Okay, mastering the sister self to master the world around you, because it's important to go inside to get everything else going on outside. If we want to heal the collective, we have to heal ourselves. If we want to pour into the community garden, we have to pour into our own garden, because the community garden is going to be dry if you so focused on over there. Guess what? Your section is still dry, sis. Yeah. It needs some water. It needs some sunlight. It needs some love. Then if you focus on your garden, inevitably, the community garden looks beautiful.
Absolutely. Come on. Oh my goodness. Yes. And you know, once you heal yourself, once you do your inner work healing, it literally exudes.
Yes.
People can see your pictures and say, oh my goodness, sis, you're glowing. What you
doing?
I'm healing. Okay? That's what I'm doing. I'm healing.
Yes. Yes, I'm here for it. I am here for all of it, y'all. I am so grateful for this. Oh, this was so good. I knew it was going to be. I felt it in my spirit. I do know. It was my intuition. It was the God in me. It was my ancestors telling me, sis, this is going to be good. Right? They was just talking to me. I was like, this is fire. And I felt it, like my lips were shivering and stuff, and I wasn't even cold. I was just feeling all of the vibrations going on in the room. Oh my, I can't wait till part 2. I can't wait till part 2. Oh my goodness. Sister Kai is going to be joining us, and Sister Safari, and I got to find somebody else. But I was like, protect Black women. We can't just talk about it in one whop, because it's levels. It's levels to it. We started peeling back some layers, but we ain't even gone there, right? Sister Safari talks about the divine feminine, right? And I just want to bring her in, because she be going in. Okay? She be going, y'all seen her before. She was on the I Love Being a Black Woman live or whatever. She always goes in, and her and Sister Kai in the same room. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be too much. Now I gotta find somebody. It's gonna be a heavy hitter, but y'all, it's important for us to have these conversations. Yes. Right? It's important to elevate these types of spaces. You see what we be focused on? Y'all see what we be focused on, and we still working on our healing, but it's so easy to tap into the drama. It's just so easy, because it's a culture of it. It's a culture of it, right? So that's why I gotta stay consistent. I gotta stay consistent with connecting, collaborating, and just understanding that it's not about me. It's about the collective, right? It's bigger than me. There was a point in my life where I wanted to do everything by myself for that validation, right? I don't need that anymore. I know that I can have my sister on, and we talk about stuff all the time, right? But I'm gonna let her have that one. She already said what needed to be said. I don't need to combat it with like, oh yeah, and this. No, sis. You can have that, right? That's the collective. Understanding that you ain't got to compete with your sister. We saying the same thing. We just building, and we pouring into the community, right? And it's necessary conversations that need to be had. I can't wait till we bring some brothers in the room, but we gonna wait for that. We gonna wait for that. We still got some work to do as Black women, but we gonna bring the brothers in, okay? But like I said, I appreciate y'all for joining. When I post this live, I need y'all to share it. Y'all got to share it with people. Go check out my last SistaaHood series lives. It's fire. Like, I mean, come on, y'all. Like, did y'all get the energy and the vibration in this room? It's fire.
Yes.
Okay? So that's it. Oh, yeah, and go buy my book. It's on pre-sale. Mastering the Sister Self to Master the World Around You. Me and Sister Asia actually did an interview on Monday, so go follow her and check out the interview I did with her about my book and just the importance of self-love and self-mastery. I got a couple of interviews out. You know what I'm saying? Like, check it out. Follow my page if you aren't already and tap in. I appreciate y'all. Do y'all want to say any last words? Promote yourself. Tell them where people can find you if you got any products out, anything like that before we close?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean.
She like a dollar sign.
Dollar sign. No, I'm joking. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, for having us. Yeah, once again, Tajiana, thank you guys so much for listening in. Actor, director from the Bay Area, prioritizing, centering Black stories, Black narratives. Highlighting, especially acknowledging my privilege as a lighter skinned Black woman, always trying to prioritize darker skinned Black women when I can, Black people in general, and across genres in film and TV. So thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
Yes. Y'all better go follow her.
Dwayne.
Who's next?
So my name is Asia. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in this space. You all are amazing queens. I'm so grateful to be here with you all and learn more about your perspectives. And I love that we were able to have difference of opinions and still agree at the same time and show that we can still be queens all on our own. So super appreciative for that. And just so you know, I'm not sure how many people know how much melanin is worth, but melanin is worth way more than gold, okay? You have it naturally in your body.
Come on, a
Melanin
budget.
is worth like $300 a gram.
Come on.
Okay? Let me tell you, we have so much value within ourselves. So primarily what I do is I just help people heal from trauma. You know, I healed myself. I'm still healing. And I use my healing journey to help other people heal from trauma. And primarily I use meditation as a tool to help me connect with my ancestors, to help me connect with my intuition and my guides, to help my clients. So if you're here and you want to heal, I'm the girl.
Come on. Don't you got a podcast coming out soon, sis?
Yes. So yes. So I have a podcast I started in 2019, and I will be relaunching it within the next few weeks. So it's called Survivor Not by Chance, because I survived not by chance. I survived because I fought to survive, and I pushed myself to where I am. I have a book on Amazon called The Pressures of Becoming a Diamond, because I am a diamond. I'm more than worth what people think that I'm worth.
Come on.
I have a baby face don't mean that my experiences are not what they were, but I allowed myself to be where I am today. And I literally speak all over the world.
Come on.
Let me calm down. I don't be like talking about.
No, you better say your resume.
Black woman,
okay?
stop being modest.
Say your resume. We're here for it. All of it. Share.
But yeah, I literally, you know, I was in foster care. You know, not many people know that about me. I didn't know my heritage and my background and where my family was from, because my mother didn't know her father. My father didn't know his father. So I didn't know my culture. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was supposed to be. I didn't know who I was as an individual. But I intentionally decided in 2019 I was going to document my healing journey.
Wow.
And my podcast, Surviving Not by Chance, was me documenting it. And ever since I intentionally decided to heal and I intentionally decided to manifest my healing, my life has changed drastically.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
so when it comes to healing, take your healing journey seriously,
Yes.
kings and queens. Whoever is watching this, please take your healing journey seriously. If you are in a financial struggle, when you heal, that part of you heal.
That's
Every
a word.
part of you will heal when
That's
you
a
heal
word.
that trauma.
Wow.
So I'm so grateful to be in this space and this time, and I really appreciate each and every one of you queens and everybody that's listening.
Yeah.
I send healing to you all.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Ah. The vibrations. Okay, go ahead, Sister Kai.
Whew. Well, thank you for dragging me here. Because you know,
Stop. This
What?
is what I be saying.
I don't-
This is
I
what
don't-
I be. And guess what? She gonna be on the next
I
episode too.
don't go live on my own channel. Okay, so she knows that this was a struggle for me, but I'm grateful that she made the space and
She's
that
so
we were able.
good, y'all. She's so good. I'm trying to tell her. She needs to, and she knows it. Don't get it twisted. She's very confident in who she is, as you can see. It's just I'm trying to get her to go live more because people need to hear what she got to say. She be dropping that game.
Queen.
She be dropping that knowledge, that wisdom. She has so much experience. And like, I just be trying to like, Sister Kai, come on. Come on. Like, she already know what time it is. It's just about her just, anyways, go ahead.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's lovely meeting you guys, you ladies. I'm on Clubhouse, Kai Kelly. I'm on here. I really don't use Facebook, but I have a book. My book is on Amazon. I have a single. All of the things can be found in the link in my bio, which is author_Kai Kelly. And I'm grateful to continue the conversation, any conversation regarding healing, us growing. You know, I'm not going to be here for everything that's going to get done, but I'm going to be grateful that I poured into and I've helped plant seeds for the work that's going to get done for future generations. So,
Amen.
Yes. I'm excited. I'm so grateful. I can't wait till next week. Y'all see her in the corner?
yes, that's my fire.
Her a little shine.
That's my little
She be going live, y'all. When the phone is off, she be going live too. But anyways, I am so grateful. Like I said, click the link in my bio for my book. It's on pre-sale now. It's officially coming out in November. And actually, Sister Kai is the one editing my book. So if y'all need any editing services, go hit her up. And all the things, it's levels to what Black women can do and how we just body it all at the same time. Oh, it's such a flex. Anyways, y'all have a beautiful day. Everybody, remember to share this. Have a good night. You want to say bye, Fia? Yeah. Come on. Wait. Go. Say it.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.